Good morning, millennials.
Welcome back to The Toast and happy Monday. And if there ever was a Monday that felt like a Monday, today is the one. It is the Monday after Super Bowl Sunday. Jackson Turner here. We're back on video. Jax is back in studio. She's still not feeling well, but she showed up because she knows like this the Monday after Super Bowl Sunday is seriously like our Super Bowl.
Right. As the #1 sports podcast among women, I couldn't not show up for the Super Bowl recap episode. And because I was so sick all weekend, like last night, I just laid in bed and watched the Super Bowl.
Every minute.
I did fall asleep for the first 2 quarters. That's just on being sick.
That's funny. Not you saying I watched the whole thing. I was asleep for half the game.
Well, the first 2 quarters are like the least important quarters, especially in this game. But then I woke up and I watched the halftime show. And literally, Zach and I were watching till the last player was in the stadium. Like we were.
Oh, that's so funny.
He really wanted to see MVP. I'm like, of course it's Jalen Hurts. They never even gave the ball to Saquon.
Yeah, even though last night was like a big intro for me to Saquon and the Barkley of it all. Mm-hmm. And let me just say, family. P-Jam energy. Like, love that he couldn't do what he did last night, like for our team, the Giants, when they were in New York, but whatever. Like, he's such a cutie. And I watched actually a lot of the pre-show.
It's that quote that I keep looking for. If anybody knows the quote, it's like, if you're not blooming where you're planted, you need to replant. Like Saquon
and that's what Saquon did. Yeah,
he's a beautiful flower who couldn't bloom.
The replanting of Saquon Barkley. We saw all that growth last night. It's so true.
Yeah, he has blossomed in Philadelphia.
So they had like all these different pairings. They interviewed like Saquon and Jalen Hurts and then Travis, obviously, and Patrick. And so they had Tom Brady interviewing Patrick Mahomes, like the GOATs. Then they had Gronk interviewing Travis Kelce as like, well, up until Travis Kelce, like Gronk was the greatest tight end in the league.
Yeah, like silly tight ends.
Then they had Michael Strahan interviewing
Saquon
because Michael Strahan is like the greatest giant of all time, and he's like New York, and so I learned a lot about Saquon. Let me just say, P-Jam, so like really genuinely happy for him. We're gonna dive into the game, obviously the performances, the commercials, the actual game, the celebrities in attendance, and that'll be a part of the story. So we don't want to,
give it all
prematurely ejaculate, right?
Yeah, we'll get into it shortly because I feel like that's the big news of the weekend. But how was your weekend otherwise?
Well, there actually is some other big news of the week for me. I need to get everyone prepared to be sick of me because in a couple of days I am taking my glucose test, and I just feel like up until that point, like I will not stop talking about it.
You're going to make the glucose test your personality?
Well, because, okay, I actually forgot to tell you this. I found myself in a little bit of like TikTok drama a couple of weeks ago where I made a TikTok when I got back from the doctor, and I had told Dr. Fox, Dr. Fox had told me that my next appointment would be my glucose test. And so I was just like learning about glucose, and he was really like, you could try different things, but you either have it or you don't. Nothing you could do now. It's just you're either born with it or you're not. It's not like a big deal. So I made like a funny TikTok because it's gestational diabetes. So I made a TikTok being like, I'm taking my glucose test next week. Like, it's only fruit and seltzer from here on out, girls. And it was a joke, obviously. Oh my God, like all these nurse RNs were like stitching, being like, this is actually a really common misconception. Like, and apparently fruit actually has a ton of sugar. So if I was going to be, it's going to make it worse. And so like Olivia was giving me some advice. People do say like, there's nothing I could do right now to change whether or not I have it. But there is something I can do now to change whether or not I fail the first test, in which case I would then have to do like the longer, lengthy, really painful one. So they say I should just like, decrease sugar and carbs a couple of days before, which would be now. I had a bagel for breakfast. Like if I'm decreasing sugar and carbs, what else is there to eat?
Protein. That's the correct answer, Alex. What is protein? But I know you're not going to like sit down with a rotisserie chicken.
Like, what am I, on the carnivore diet? It's not happening.
No, I think just be mindful. Like, don't eat extraneously. Don't go on a bender. But like, I think if you're eating your usual, just eat your usual.
Yeah, I did go on a bender last night. What did you eat for the Super Bowl? Ben made me Crunchwrap Supremes. I had 2.
Yummo.
And then we ordered Carvel for dessert. Like, I really just sort of went balls to the wall.
What did I eat? Tea with honey and lemon and saltines. Like, seriously, my Super Bowl was taken from me. I was honestly not even because I was sick, like, but including the fact that I was sick, it was the worst Super Bowl of all time.
I will say start to finish from all different elements, the game, the commercials, the performances. It was, for me, the least entertaining Super Bowl in recent memory.
Yeah. Plus being sick, like, didn't help. I didn't get to eat like anything, nachos, hot dogs, nothing.
Yeah.
I can't even
that
taste.
Sucks.
So yeah, I could have eaten, like, Zach could have brought me something home, but I can't even taste.
That sucks. I like really went hard in the
yummy.
paint. Yeah, and I figured it's sort of like a sending off to my glucose test because I'll be like I'll try and eat very balanced for the next couple of days, even though like I know it does nothing.
I
either have it or I
Crunch Wraps
don't.
aren't so bad. Like there's some protein there.
1,000%.
And
I will say, fellow redhead and friend of the toast, originator of the song My Duty Brown, Dana, she had gestational diabetes. And actually, in hindsight, she tells me now it was kind of one of the better things to happen to her because it really hindered her in the final trimester from overdoing it and gaining so much weight. She actually says like by the time she gave birth, she was kind of back at like a normal weight.
Yeah, no, she was in the best shape of her life.
Because you really can't eat anything but like meat and healthy.
She was so slender.
Right. So while it would be a very unenjoyable experience for me, it wouldn't be the worst thing. Like, I don't know how I'm ever going to go back to eating. I can't believe I used to live a healthy lifestyle. I can't believe I ever like used to make good choices. I don't remember that girl at all.
That's good. There's different seasons for everything. Like you're pregnant, eat what you want.
No, I know I will. But at some point I'm like, after being pregnant, I'll have to go back.
Yeah, but you will be a changed person. Like don't even worry about her. You don't even know her yet. You don't even know her.
I don't.
She's a problem for another day.
But that's a song for another time.
I'm literally like sweating sitting here, like because I have like the sweats and the chills.
Fever.
I have a heating pad on, which is actually really nice. But I'm like, if you guys see me sweating, just ignore, okay?
Yeah.
Like dropping.
Yeah. That's probably like one of the worst things about being sick is desperately needing a heating pad for like your aches and things while also dripping sweat.
The temperature control issues of this flu are unlike anything I've experienced. Every time I get out of bed, I'm shivering, like freezing cold. It's so crazy. This is like the sickest I've been in years. This flu this season is not to be messed with.
It took Kelsey Ballerini by storm. I don't know if you saw, she canceled her Buffalo show mid-show.
I can understand.
Terrible. Oh my God. I'm just like really, not that I have like so many big plans, but I'm really saying no to a lot of things. Because if I get the flu, you guys are,
no, it's
like,
miserable.
It'll be bad for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah, truly. But otherwise, weekend was very chill. Oh, you know what? I wanted to ask you something. I actually didn't talk to you at all this weekend. And I meant to tell you, I was getting so much shit on Instagram yesterday. So I went to Maddie, Ben's sister, my sister-in-law's bridal shower. It was lovely. And I was like posting pictures. And so many people were coming at me being like, so weird that you call Ben's sister. Because I was like narrating the events on my Instagram story. And I was like off to Ben's sister's bridal shower. And I guess like a more normal thing to say would my sister-in-law's bridal shower.
I understand why you didn't do that, and ultimately you're right because the sister-in-law is like a very mature term, and it's like,
I wasn't even thinking mature.
Like
I was thinking like negative.
No.
I was thinking it's like I find, and then I was thinking like even when I talk about Ben's family on the show, I don't say my in-laws. I say Ben's family. I feel like it's a more endearing term. In-laws has such like a maybe it's the Dear Toasters in me. Like it has such a negative connotation. People are like, Jackie, I got so weird that you call her Ben's sister. Why?
It's literally not weird, but I do feel like when someone is younger, they feel less like an in-law, and it's just like Ben's sister.
True.
You know, if you had an older sister, it's very mature. The sister-in-law, but when they're younger, it's like, what if you have a 12-year-old sister? Like that's a sister-in-law?
Oh, it's such a good point.
I don't think so.
And also, like when Ben and I met, Maddie was like 14. So to me, like I know she's a grown-ass woman now,
BLS.
but like she's getting married. But she's still like little sis, 100%. That's a good point too.
They just don't know you, and
so
they don't
much
know
backlash.
Her. They don't know her like you do.
They don't know. But then I do realize, like, even when I was talking last week about how I had dinner with Ben's parents, like, I exclusively call them Ben's parents, not my in-laws. I don't know why. I think in-laws is like a dirty word.
No, but I understand what you mean, that it's more like familial to say Ben's parents.
And don't you also feel like it's a little waspy, like not Jewish?
To say in-laws, well, you say machatanam.
Machatanam, right. But I don't know a lot of Jewish people who say my in-laws.
Well, you could start saying machatanam.
Well, yeah, my machatanam. And that is a term of endearment.
Yeah, machatanam is your in-laws.
Only refers to your spouse's parents. I don't think it includes siblings.
Machatanam sister?
Machatanam sister. Totally. That's your Yiddish word of the day. Machatanam, spelling so unclear. But just Google it.
So unclear.
Tanum.
Sister.
Sister. So you were just like sick all weekend, not much to share with the class?
I was sick all weekend, and I didn't even get to watch that much TV because I was like that sick. I actually had to Google how to turn the brightness down on my television because I couldn't even look at it.
Wow.
And I figured it out, and I'm leaving it that way.
Yeah, of course. Like, you got to get the TV remote, not the Apple TV, like the actual TV remote, and then you go to menu settings.
I did it on Apple TV. Like, it was this accessibility, display, brightness, turned it all down, so I was able to watch a little bit. I watched new Kardashians episode, but then I also watched a bunch of episodes from last season. So I don't know which one was this week's episode. So I can't.
The one with Lamar.
Yeah, I saw the Lamar conversation, but I forget what else happened. Like, to me, Courtney is in Australia with her family.
Got it. Because you're sort of behind.
Yeah, but now I'm caught up. And then I watched. So I really was looking for something mindless because I couldn't pay attention to anything. So I watched a little bit of Quarterback on Netflix, which wound up being like the perfect thing to watch in the lead up to the Super Bowl because they followed 3 quarterbacks. Patrick Mahomes being one of them. Mm-hmm. And so I was really getting to know Patty really well right before the Super Bowl. Like, instead of watching the Fox Countdown to Red Carpet, I watched Quarterback. And right as I'm falling in love with Patrick, like, he stunk up the joint.
Yes. Not a good night for the Chiefs and specifically Patty over there.
I was so impressed by him learning about his protocols, his training, this and that. I'm like, this guy's got it in the bag.
So regimented.
Yeah. And he's just like, some people are just like physically more gifted in
superior.
The sport. Like he also trained as a baseball player coming up. So like he was going to be a baseball player. And so like a lot of his quarterback throws, he throws like a baseball, which really helps him. Like he like hits him with that swivel, and his like his head is always stays straight. So like it just reminds me of like how Michael Phelps was like born to be the best swimmer.
Michael Phelps.
Like just built to be a swimmer. Like Patrick Mahomes is that quarterback. But last night he was not. But something that was really funny that I wanted to tell you is that they were talking about all their different plays and how they have like all these weird names for them, like cat, bag, lion. Yeah. And they have one play. It's like for Travis, and they call it Catching Kelsey.
You're kidding.
And he said Travis hates it because that was the show he was on.
So fucking funny.
So
I love
funny.
That.
And then they showed a clip of Catching Kelsey where Travis is like being just so ridiculous.
Cringe.
Like about how he wants to meet someone.
It does make you wonder like what documentaries were being filmed last night. Definitely like a Jalen Hurts.
Oh, yeah. I wonder who they are following. Netflix like does a lot of sports content.
Across all different sports. Like they do golf, they do tennis, they do a lot of football. They just did the tight end. DCC.
Now
Where was the DCC last night?
Yeah, their absence was glaring.
Glaring.
The DCC, oh my God, my husband's going to kill me. The DCC remind me of Bring It On, when like the cheerleaders are just like so much better than the football team.
Oh, 1,000%. And I was actually thinking at NFL Honors, a great joke for Snoop Dogg was hosting. Whoever was hosting would have been like, it was a great year for the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Because it really was.
Yeah, it was. And they're getting their season 2 and they're keeping the franchise alive.
And people literally show up to the games like for them.
Yeah. That's great.
Yeah. So I feel like we're just sort of circling the drain.
Yeah, let's get into the Super Bowl. Without further ado, it is time for the Fast 5 stories that you need to know.
And the Fast 5 stories that you need to know are brought to you by the Farmer's Dog. So this new year, the easiest healthy habit to start is one for your dog. And the Farmer's Dog makes feeding real healthy dog food easy and convenient. Your dog will absolutely love it. It's smart, healthy pet food that you can feel good about feeding your dog. And that's why it's time to quit the kibble, kick the cans, and start fresh with the Farmer's Dog. They are making and delivering, most importantly, healthy dog food right to your door. It's developed by vets, it's nutritionally balanced, and it's made from real meat and vegetables to the safety standards of human food. It's the best option for dogs at all life stages because it's not kibble, it's not canned goo, it's just real healthy food. Traditional dry and wet dog food options are highly processed, they can use much lower quality ingredients than they claim to, and they're extremely difficult to portion accurately. Well, the Farmer's Dog is sending you pre-portioned food specifically for your dog based on their unique nutritional needs. It makes it easy to help your dog maintain their ideal weight, which is one of the biggest indicators of a full, healthy life. So dogs at a healthy weight can live up to 2.5 years longer than overweight dogs, especially like it's very breed specific, but Jackie and I are Cavalier moms and we're super crazy about the dog's weight. That's why I'm always calling Bruno fat, because they are predisposed to a heart condition. So like their weight can really affect, it can actually take years off their life. So we're really crazy about what we feed our dogs. And the farmer's dog, when I switched Theo to it, it was such a game changer. His breath was better. His coat was much shinier. He was making like more regulated poops. So if you want to get 50% off your first box of fresh, healthy food at thefarmersdog.com/toast, you should. Plus you're going to get free shipping, but only when you go to thefarmersdog.com/toast to get 50% off. That's thefarmersdog.com/toast. Today's episode is also brought to you by BetterHelp. Thank you, BetterHelp, for sponsoring today's episode. We often hear about red flags we should avoid, but what if we focused more on looking for green flags in friends and in partners? Well, if you're not sure what those look like, therapy can help you identify green flags, actively practice them in your relationships, and embody the green flag energy yourself. So whether you're dating, married, building a friendship, or you're just working on yourself, it's time to form relationships that love you back. And therapy is a great place to do that. I know a lot of people are very intimidated by therapy, and doing it online is such a great way. And BetterHelp is obviously the best in the game when it comes to online therapy. It's done fully online. It makes therapy affordable and convenient, and they serve over 5 million people worldwide. You will get access to a diverse network of more than 30,000 credentialed therapists with a wide range of specialties. You can easily switch therapists at any time for no additional cost, which I think is one of the best things about BetterHelp. Also, once you do find a therapist that you love and jive with, you can communicate with them in any medium you're most comfortable with. So that means you can text with them, video chat, just regular phone call, like whatever you feel most comfortable with, they will sort of be flexible and like help you out with. So discover your relationship green flags today with BetterHelp. Discover betterhelp.com/toast and you'll get 10% off your first month, but that's only when you go to betterhelp.com/toast, betterhelp.com/toast, betterhelp.com/TOAST. Today's episode is also brought to you by OpenPhone. Running a small business means you're wearing a lot of hats. Your personal phone becomes your business phone, and before you know it, you're juggling customer calls day and night. As your team grows, it becomes impossible to manage with your personal number, and that's where OpenPhone comes in. If you're an entrepreneur, you know that a missed call is a missed opportunity, and that's why OpenPhone is the best thing for you. It's also the #1 business phone system. They will help you separate your personal life from your growing business for just $15 a month, which is basically the cost of a few coffees. You will get complete transparency and visibility into everything happening in your business phone number. OpenPhone works through an app on your phone or your computer, and it integrates with HubSpot and hundreds of other systems. They use AI-powered call transcripts and summaries. So once you hop off the phone, you'll have a summary of all the action items as soon as you hang up. If you miss a call, their automated messages are sent directly to your customer, meaning that you'll never miss an opportunity to engage with a customer. It's affordable. It's super easy to use. So whether you're a one-person operation, you need help managing calls automatically, or you have a large team and you need better tools for efficient collaboration, OpenPhone is truly a no-brainer. Plus, they've won multiple awards by G2 for software reviews. They are trusted by over 50,000 businesses. And right now, they're offering our listeners 20% off your first 6 months when you go to openphone.com/toast. That's OPENPHONE, spelled the normal way, openphone.com/toast for 20% off 6 months. That's openphone.com/TOAST. And if you have existing phone numbers with another service, OpenPhone will port them over for you at no extra charge. So make sure to go to openphone.com/toast for that 20% off 6 months.
Thank you, Open Turt.
It's been a pleasure being open with you, honestly.
First story, Super Bowl recap. Let's talk sports first. So the Eagles beat the Chiefs at Super Bowl licks. Final score 40-22 in New Orleans.
So it was really crazy. Like at first I was not really concerned. Even though they were losing, it was just like
they kind of love to do that.
Yes, but also anytime I've ever watched the Chiefs, they're like annoyingly good. It's like it doesn't even matter what the score is. They're just like gonna get it done. So it wasn't like particularly like freaked until at the half. Like, oh no, maybe right when they came back from the half, the Eagles scored again, and then it was 24-0. At some point, you just get to a deficit that's so big. Like, there's not enough time in the game for you to come back from. And we were slowly approaching that, and I was like, I couldn't believe it. I'm like, there's no way. They're trying to be the greatest in the league. I was like, who are these people? Like, it was giving lobotomy. Everybody forgot how to play and like do their jobs. Like, Travis, catch? He does, I don't know it. Patrick, throw? I don't know. And I don't know who to blame most, but I definitely hold a lot of space for like everybody did a bad job. Like, it's not just one person or one part of the team.
Well, that's good, you know?
Specifically, like the group of guys whose job it is to make sure Patty has like a couple of seconds to throw the ball.
Yeah, the offensive lineman.
I think they ended up breaking a record last night for the most sacks in a Super Bowl. Like, it was really, I don't know how many times like Patrick had to like tiptoe and just to get away. Your job is, and I was watching and I'm like, they're just standing there. They were really, everybody stunk though. Like I don't even want to just blame them. Like Travis was bad. All the people who were supposed to catch were bad. But the people who were supposed to protect, that's kind of like the first line of defense. They were really sticking it up.
Yeah, I guess it's like good that there's not blame on one person. Like one person doesn't feel like they ruined it. And also sometimes I feel like when the game is so close, it's like even more heartbreaking because it's like we were so close to greatness, but they literally didn't have a chance. To me, what's so crazy is like the whole weekend is literally like a multi-billion-dollar endeavor. Like everyone coming and traveling and all the celebrities and all the entertainment and all the parties leading up to the weekend in the hotel. All around this game. And it was literally like
the worst game I've ever seen in my life.
Little League they were playing.
Yeah.
And
it was so
like all
not
of the fanfare
entertaining.
is for this game and they couldn't even play football.
And I saw the most interesting TikTok because we know that like celebrities spend like hundreds of thousands of dollars on their suites and planes. But this person was just going around to people at the Super Bowl, like the actual game, and just asking them how much they spent on tickets. And I had seen that the average price of the ticket last night was around $5,000. But just seeing regular folk like being interviewed, people being like, we spent $8,000 per ticket. Nobody spent less than $5,000 on a ticket in this video that I saw. And that's why there were a lot of Eagles fans there because this is the third time. It's actually the sixth time
the Chiefs have been.
So it's not like uncommon for a Chiefs fan to get to go to the Super Bowl. I think they know they'll have an opportunity in the next couple of years. But you know, with other teams, it's not always the case. You have good years, you have bad years. And so and you could tell just by like the cheers and the boos that most people in the crowd were Eagles fans.
Yeah, and the reporters had said that too. So I'm glad that most people that were, imagine being a Chiefs fan and like you finally are going to go to the Super Bowl, spending that much money to see them play like dog shit.
It's so crazy.
Like, it was seriously embarrassing.
Yeah, it was really bad. But everybody kept, because, you know, the commentators were like, you know, some guy and Tom Brady. And there's like a famous Super Bowl where Tom Brady came back to beat the Falcons.
Right, of course, 24-2. Yeah.
Right. So everybody keeps, Ben was like, don't worry, Tom Brady came back. And they keep saying, you know, Patrick is the second comings of Tom Brady. So I was like, oh yeah, so it's possible. And I just figured like at some point it would happen. And it became increasingly clear as the night went on, like it wasn't happening.
No, and what was so weird, it was like for the last 10 or 12 minutes, like the gap was too big to close really. But like they can't celebrate yet. They haven't won. Like we have to like still play 12 more minutes, but like we know that they won. And so it was so anticlimactic because it was like we knew for 12 minutes that the Eagles had won the Super Bowl, but they're still like having to play the game. They're on the sidelines like dumping Gatorade on with 5 minutes left.
I want to talk about the Gatorade.
And it's just like, but we can't celebrate yet. And then by the time like we had a winner, it's like, oh, well, we knew. It was just so anticlimactic.
Yeah, them pouring the Gatorade on Nick Santini. What's his name?
Yeah, the great Santini.
Carla's dad. What the hell is his name?
Okay, I'll find out. Eagles coach.
They poured it on him.
I think Sirianni.
Sirianni, yes. Sounds like a character from Jersey Shore. There was like 4 minutes left. Now, of course, like the Chiefs like really couldn't have won, but it wasn't impossible. And actually, when they got the ball back, Patrick on his first down, threw a touchdown. Now, of course, it was just a small dent in the lead, but like, you never know. I just thought it was really crazy that they were doing the Gatorade already.
Yeah, that was really crazy. But I guess overall, like the final score 40-20 or 22
doesn't sound so bad.
It doesn't sound like what we watched.
Yeah, but they got to 20 like in the last 3 minutes.
I know, but at least like they got a respectable-ish score up on the board because the whole game was like 37-0.
Zero.
A bunch of zeros.
So and I like to watch, like I didn't have a particular stake in the game last night. Obviously like the Taylor of it all is super interesting, but I don't care like who won. So I just wanted to be entertained. And it was so boring, the game. Like these are supposed to be the two greats. And I couldn't help but think, you know who wouldn't have lost so badly to the Eagles?
The Bills.
The Bills. I know Josh Allen was watching that game being like, this is bullshit. Like, let me give the people what they want. I'm sorry, you have a duty to the American people to keep us entertained at the Super Bowl. I don't care if you win or lose. Your job is to keep us on the edge of our seats. And also, I can't help but thinking about the advertisers who definitely pay more for commercials in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
Because usually it's the most important part of the game. And I can't even imagine how many people turned off the TV in the fourth quarter, like because it was late. It's a Sunday night, like people have to go to work. It was useless to watch at some point.
Yeah, I guess, but that's the chance that you take with the Super Bowl and advertising. Yeah. I don't feel like so bad for them in their $8 million commercials.
No, me neither. Although, did you know the first Super Bowl ever? Do you know how much a commercial went for?
I feel like we've done this, but no, tell me.
They showed it on TV last night. They were showing like average price of a ticket. Compared to, and it was like $20 versus $8,000. And last night commercials went for $8 million, and the first Super Bowl ever, they went for $40,000.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What year was that? Oh, 59
years ago. So like the 60s.
So next year would be Super Bowl LX.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out like with the numbers. I so don't understand Roman numerals, and I don't understand the Super Bowl's obsession with using them in their logos.
I was actually like thinking that I feel like soon they'll stop using Roman numerals, and that will be a sad day. I just want to say.
It will, because I think as a country, like intellectually, we can no longer handle Roman numerals.
It's just so sad.
Yes, it's a state, but it's kind of like the metric system. Like we don't really use them. It is the only time in actually, I guess like if I meet someone whose name is like Chad the Third, yeah, right. I would use. But like it is the only time in my year where I'm even thinking of Roman numerals.
I just think like we should keep them around. But
do they teach Roman numerals in school?
These days, I don't know. In our day, yes.
Yeah, but like up until like 20.
Yeah, but you only need so many. That's like you only need so many letters to know, because then you eventually know that
we never got to L or X. We only got to I and V.
Well, V is 5. L is LIX
is 50.
50. Yeah.
And IX is 1 minus 10.
Yeah. I think it's good. I think we need this refresher.
It's a challenge. It's an annual challenge for the American people.
Yeah. So I don't know what happened. Like seriously, it was as if they all like forgot how to play the sport. It was genuinely like an embarrassment to the whole country.
It was dreadful. And it was also just kind of crazy to see Travis, Patty, and Taylor, to see them lose. Like they don't lose often, and when they have lost, it's been kind of inconsequential. Yeah. So it was just kind of like seeing a teacher out of school. Like felt weird to see them be big losers. Even Travis's like post-game interview where he's so upset in his sparkly shirt, and he was like, we can't just blame the O-line. It was everyone. I'm like, ew, I kind of got the ick. Like I wonder if Taylor did too.
And it's not like they lost valiantly,
Totally.
There was no valiance.
No, there was no honor.
It was as if they were body snatched by a bunch.
Yes. It was like we were playing.
Seriously. I have no idea what happened. It was so crazy and so embarrassing. And like, what do you even do after that?
I don't know. We got like no Taylor footage because of it. Because like every time Travis does something, good or bad, they show Taylor, and like he wasn't doing anything, good or bad.
Yeah.
Except for those like 2 big drops in the beginning. I was like, oh yikes. But he's like always like, he's kind of messy, but he always pulls it through. That's the thing. I like wasn't worried. I'm like, they always pull it together. I'm sure Taylor wasn't worried either. But then it just became increasingly clear. I did find her cast and crew in the suite to be quite interesting. Yes. Obviously her parents were there. The Kelseys were there.
Taylor was there. Brought
Haim, who've kind of been like laying low. I feel like she hasn't called on them in a while.
Yeah, but they're always there for her.
Yeah, they're loyal and steadfast. She also brought Ice Spice, which was so random. And I thought, I guess they are still friends. Although a lot of people had pointed out to me that she was at the last Super Bowl that Travis won, and Taylor might have been like superstitious, trying to like recreate.
Wasn't Blake there?
And by the way, a lot of people were there with her.
Cara.
Kelly Taylor.
Were they together at all this weekend?
No. So Kelly Taylor was at the Super Bowl. Her and Miles are huge Eagles fans, which makes sense. Like maybe this time they wouldn't be in the same suite, but like they were not together at all. And actually, I saw some discourse about this online. Kelly and Miles were hanging out with Zach Bryan, which like obviously is like not a big deal. Zach Bryan's a huge Eagles fan too. But Zach Bryan like famously like wrote that nasty tweet about Kanye being better than Taylor. Like if that's your friend. So like, I'm sorry, these two are not friends. You can't convince me. Like they're not.
That's so crazy.
I know.
That's so crazy.
I would love to know what happened.
Yeah, me too. Anyways,
because like sometimes you just like fall out of love with people. That's fine. Like you get like steadfast in a friendship.
Not at
but
that
I feel like
level,
something bad
and not
happened.
at their ages. That happens when you have like your party friends.
Yeah.
And your first cousins, second cousins.
Yeah. So true.
But not at their age. They've been friends for so long, and they were like so tight to go from.
Had they been friends for so long?
Yeah, I feel like throughout the years, like Kelly like had a bunch of stuff. I feel like she was like friendly with Taylor throughout the years.
No, I feel like it happened really organically. Like she was a big fan, and then they coordinated Miles being in the I Bet You Think About Me music video, and that was sort of like the catalyst, if you will. And then it was like a year where they were just inseparable.
Yeah.
Like the ring she bought, remember? It was Taylor's date to the Emmys.
Yeah.
It was like burning fast and bright, and that was it.
Yeah, that's really weird.
Yeah. Well, and then with the Zach Bryan thing, it makes me think like that something happened, because even if like you're not friendly with someone, like I feel like
something
it was a move.
Something happened.
Yeah.
And her suite like was a little lackluster.
So I was guests, but also I thought this about a lot of the suites, because I was seeing like a lot of footage of people. Something about the specific
arena.
I know it's an indoor arena, which is nice because I heard it was so hot and humid and rainy. But everyone's suites like were covered. Like there was like a ceiling in front of them. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like usually like your windows are like flush. I just looked like, honestly, like not worth the money. Not to complain watching from my couch. I was just like, I would have been annoyed. So we got like all the pictures of Taylor had like this like just like blurry quality to it because of like the ceiling.
Got it. Oh, and Taylor got booed, which to me, like it was just because like I saw it as the whole stadium is Eagles fans and she's such a Chiefs. Not because like everybody hates Taylor Swift. Like I think it was in the spirit of the game.
I know. And so obviously like getting booed is horrible, and people who do it like seriously grow the fuck up. Like you have children, you're booing someone. However, I do think Taylor understood that she was being booed because she's Travis's girlfriend, not because like if they had showed any of Travis's family, I think they would have gotten booed. Maybe not Jason, but I think it had nothing to do with like music. Some people thought it was political.
No, I don't think so.
I think it was like Travis's girl, and the whole stadium was Eagles fans. Like,
yeah. That's how I
think if they put Donna up there, well, Donna's also Jason's mom, so maybe they wouldn't have booed her.
If they put Britney up there.
Oh, yeah. Well, they would. Britney is like kind of a polarizing figure, like especially within her own community. They've always like given her shit. So I don't think it was personal. I think it's inappropriate like to boo anyone, like especially like it's rude, like it's like a person. But having said that, given her reaction, I think she understood it was not about her, because she kind of gave like a funny side eye, like facial expression. It was not about her.
But sports fans boo. That's like what they do.
Yeah, they're freaks.
Yeah, they're crazy. So that's the game, and that's the ball game, and it was a real stinker.
Big one.
And next we're going to talk about all the entertainment from the evening, including Kendrick Lamar halftime show. Let's
go in order.
Yeah, so Lady Gaga actually opened the show with a touching rendition of Hold My Hand in honor of the New Orleans terrorist attack victims and the LA fires.
I was so unexpected. Did they announce that she was going to be performing? No.
No. On the pre-show, they kept saying Lady Gaga coming up, and I was like, what is she doing?
I was so shocked. It was so many things, right? Like the concept is really beautiful. Like, how can we not acknowledge that a mere 2 months ago, 14 people died in like one of the most horrible terror attacks? Like, it was really beautiful. The song choice, we were just talking about that song. You guys know that's Shaggy Night's like favorite fucking song. And it's one of Lady Gaga's most underrated, and it's so beautiful. So I love that it got its moment. I loved like the very low-key nature of everyone, like Tom Brady, Michael Strahan, just like standing around a piano.
Yeah.
It was, and in the French Quarter, it was so beautiful, and I loved the way that she looked. The looks from this era have been like kind of crazy. I don't know if you saw what she wore to the actual Super Bowl. Like she looked nuts.
And she had like different hair.
Yeah, she had black hair, black leather, like she looked super crazy. At the Grammys, she looked nuts. I thought she looked so sweet, and it was an appropriate look. Like she wore all white. I really liked the bleached eyebrows. I could not come up with one negative thing to say. It was so unbelievably beautiful. I was really moved by the whole thing. Like really, it was spectacular.
Yeah, agreed. And then we had the national anthem, John Batiste and America the Beautiful.
Before that. And the Lift Every Voice.
Ledisi.
I just want to say, you put a youth choir in my midst, I'm on board. The youth choir slayed the house down. What I really liked about Lift Every Voice was, and I love those initial songs that they do, right? Like the God Bless America. Because it's a moment of seriousness before all this fun, right? It's sports, it's celebrities, it's all supposed to be fun, but it's a real moment of solitude. It's a moment of togetherness. People cry. We have so many famous, last year, Nick Santini crying. There's so many great moments, and it's like a real just somber moment, and I love that. So while I love Lauren Daigle, and I actually thought Trombone Shorty was amazing. Like I wasn't familiar with his work. They all through the night, they were trying to represent New Orleans, and I get that New Orleans has like this really vibrant culture. And I actually really liked that they chose a lot of homegrown talent, and they really wanted to showcase like that Harry Connick Jr. thing with all the dancers.
I forgot that. There was like a whole...
There was
a pre-show.
Yeah, it was like colorful. It was very Mardi Gras.
Yeah.
So I love that they were bands. Like... Yeah, they were really intent on putting their culture first. I loved that. I did feel like because New Orleans culture is so colorful and bright and fun and loud, they kept infusing it into like America the Beautiful and then Jon Batiste with the anthem. And I just felt like it was not the vibe. It's kind of the opposite of the vibe I personally look for in those songs. I look for moments of solitude, of seriousness, and with like the fun elements of like the jazz bands. I just felt like it didn't match the energy that I was personally looking for.
Yeah. How was Warren Daigle and Trombone Shorty? I missed it because it was bedtime.
Like, it was good. It wasn't a bad rendition at all.
But just not Super Bowl caliber.
Right. He played the trombone while she delivered vocals, and then he also did vocals, like really beautiful harmonies. But it was just kind of like this scat, like, it wasn't a scat, but they added like this fusion of New Orleans vibe, which is beautiful, but I didn't think appropriate for like what I usually look for in these moments, like right before the game starts, all the fun. I just love how serious it always is. I love that we see grown men cry. Yeah. I love that we see people like take their hats off and they cut to the military. Like it's very beautiful. And I think New Orleans is a little too close to the sun. They wanted New Orleans everywhere.
Yeah.
And it was like, and Jon Batiste did it less, but he still did it. And I happen to think it was a pretty rendition.
Not Super Bowl.
And you know what? I was actually thinking this last year. I feel like every time we sit, we like criticize the music, but then like history really will tell how we reflect. And I feel like I remember when Chris Stapleton did it, I really liked it, but I didn't know if it was going to become like historic. And now I find myself constantly thinking about it, and it's like always getting it goes viral on TikTok. Like people love it so much. So time will tell. You really can't judge.
Yeah.
Even last year with Reba, I think you had said like it was so great and so classic that she didn't do anything frilly, anything different, and it might go down as like one of the greats. And it doesn't. Like we don't even talk about it, right? I didn't
remember she did it last year.
Right. So time will tell, but I don't think Jon Batiste entered that Hall of Fame last night, but I do think he did a really nice job, and it was very respectful and well done. He didn't flub the words or like miss a note. Like Stop. It was
That's
no,
it was,
no, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like it wasn't bad by any stretch. I wasn't moved to tears.
Yeah.
I don't think a lot of we didn't get a moment like that where they zoom in on people's faces. Like,
yeah,
it was a little too fun.
Yeah.
And he had this big colorful piano, which I know, I understand it's like a part of New Orleans culture. And I love that. It's like it's rare to have a state that really has such individual culture, like outside of, it's not like American, it's Louisianan. Like it's cool. And I love that they infused it. I thought the big intro pre-show was beautiful, but some moments like can be without. And I thought that Jon Batiste, like he did a good job. He didn't like he sounded pretty. I can't explain it. I wasn't moved.
Yeah, he did. And I think he did like the best job of him. So it's like, if it wasn't for you, then maybe he wasn't the right choice.
No, but he was chosen because he's a New Orleans local, which is so nice. And that would have been enough. Like, they were just like pushing New Orleans, I think, a little too much in certain corners. Yeah. But like when the graphics and everything, the logo was all very New Orleans inspired because it's very colorful. Love.
Yeah.
Love. So I liked that was clearly a choice of the design team for the Super Bowl. They did a little too much.
Yeah. I feel that. And then Kendrick Lamar halftime show. So he did a 13-minute performance, and there were guest appearance from SZA. Serena Williams showed up dancing. He performed a bunch of his songs, and that was the show.
So I actually think, and I would love to hear what your husband thought of it, because I don't listen to, like, I don't go to Spotify and listen to Kendrick Lamar. Mm-hmm. So I was really shocked at how little of the music I knew as somebody who just like is an active participant in culture, right? Yeah. Like I don't actively seek out a lot of people's music,
but you know them and they're familiar.
Right. I don't go ever listen to Justin Timberlake, but when he did the Super Bowl, I knew most of his music. So I was like the first time ever that I can remember, like in my lifetime, where I knew almost none of the music. And that's probably my only critique. I actually think the performance itself, like he executed it flawlessly, right?
Yeah.
His choreography was on point. I happen to love the dancers, like the whole red, white, and blue aesthetic, the Uncle Sam. Like I thought it was really well done. I think he sounded great. I loved his jeans. My only real critique is that I don't think he was the right choice. Yeah. Solely because an active participant in a lot of different corners of culture, like really did not know. I don't think he has enough mainstream hits. And then I think about the people who watch the Super Bowl, and that's why it's such a specific tier of people, why we're always like spending so much time thinking about who could do it, who would be good enough. You need a real discography where at least half the songs on your set lists are worldwide hits, where everybody, no matter age, no matter where they live, where they know those songs. And I feel like he has one of those songs, Sit Down, Be Humble. So while I thought the performance was actually flawlessly executed, I loved how the cameras were following him around. He had a real vision. Yeah. And when they kept zooming out, I thought the stage was really gorgeous. I just don't think he was the right choice. Unless, and I feel like maybe Apple, when they took over, they're changing a little bit of, because for so long, it was like you had to be a classic performer. Like you had to have, like Katy Perry, you had to have like such mainstream success because it's one of the only times of the year where you're going to be reaching almost every single American. So you need to be a very specific type of popular. That's why I think they often choose people who are like maybe not like the most like creative and different, but they have the biggest hits, and that's what we're here to do.
And everyone will enjoy it.
So that was really my only critique. I was like watching and I'm like, this is good, but like I would love to know a song.
Yeah. I thought
but for the Kendrick fans, I think it was like the most amazing. Yeah. Like, did your husband love it?
Well, so he thought that the visuals were like amazing, which I totally agree. Like the stage and the dancers and like the way like the different scenarios. But musically, it wasn't like probably the best choice for everyone, especially because not everyone knows all of his songs. Yeah. Now I am familiar with 2.
Not like us.
And I feel the same way, where it's like, at first I didn't mind that he was like, not every artist that they pick is going to be
like
my
Kelly
favorite,
Clarkson.
but like it's a jolly good show and it's music and it's fun, but like,
and we're gonna know it regardless of who it is.
Yeah. And if it's good music, like I don't mind hearing a song for the first time, but it's just like, it just didn't translate for, people who aren't like huge fans of his music.
And I think when we think about like who would be eligible for the Super Bowl in the past, how we've thought about it, we really think of it, at least I do, as like who would have a Vegas residency, who can go on a tour that's almost like a greatest hits, who can, not ever release new music and still have hours and hours of songs to sing. And that's why I'm always comparing it to like people who do Vegas residencies. And that's why even I think I remember last year, I was really surprised at how much of Usher's I knew. Because I haven't actively listened to Usher maybe since I'm 6.
Yeah, I feel like with Usher, it was the opposite issue where it's like the songs and the music were great. The performance like wasn't.
Yeah, but I'm talking about in terms of like selections. Like I was like, oh, I wonder if I'll know. And I knew the whole thing just like from being an active participant.
No, I'm not talking about, I'm just saying like I feel like that was like we had the opposite issue because it didn't like hit in the way that it was meant to.
I think to Kendrick's credit, I think it's really hard as like a man, like a straight man, to like dazzle without like outfits and makeup and dancers and pyrotechnics. And I think the creative of the show was actually really well done. Like, because I think you don't get to rely on a lot of the things that some of the girlies do to make it like fun and bright and like kind of a spectacle. So you have to do different things. And I thought that was a really good part of the show, that he really, aside from SZA, like did the whole thing by himself, just one man and a microphone. Like that's really hard and that was really impressive. I thought SZA was a real highlight of the show.
Yeah.
Even though I thought maybe I would know. I knew her song sounded like really familiar to me from TikTok and stuff. But it was just not, it wasn't as pop and mainstream as my particular interests align with.
And I think a lot of people felt that way. And I think a lot of people, like I was seeing, like a lot of the criticism is falling to Jay-Z because he programs the live entertainment for the Super Bowl. Rock Nation is like partnered with NFL and Apple. And like he's the one who made this choice. And as you said, like it's not entirely the right choice.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. I think maybe Apple is like shifting how we see Super Bowl performers. Like maybe it's no longer this like time capsule type of thing where, because one of the things that keeps coming to mind, Super Bowl performances are like getting viral at this time of year. And this is actually one of the Thanksgiving performers, the Creed, Let's Go There. It was after 9/11, like Thanksgiving Day performance. Like it was one of the greatest moments in American history. And it's crazy how like so many of the Super Bowl performances from 10, 20 years, we still watch and are still relevant. That's always been the Super Bowl's vibe. They wanted it to be timeless. And maybe Apple, since they took over, they're looking to be like a little bit more edgy, a little bit more like topical.
Yeah.
Because this was Kendrick's year. He just won all the Grammys. If there was a performer to perform this year, it's Kendrick Lamar. So maybe they're shifting a little bit like how they perceive and how they select the halftime show performers. Because if it's not from this, like, we look at it so like time capsule-y, right?
Yeah.
But maybe they're not. Maybe they're just like, it's 2025. Who was
like, let's do a cool show. We're on
that represents the year.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and we're just Kendrick. Like cool and we're doing a cool show.
Yeah. So maybe like it's no longer such a, because when we think about who we're always saying like Pink would be great because she has so many hits.
People who would just like encompass as many possible people as possible, even though you're never going to get someone who everybody loves or everybody likes even, but like someone who can capture as many people as possible.
It also is worth noting every single year, the next day people say, it is the worst one I've ever seen. Like they say that every fucking, oh my God, every year they fucking say that shit. So it's just one of those things where time will truly tell.
Yeah.
And when you go back and see like some of the most viewed ones of all time, because I was actually watching, somebody did a TikTok, the top 10 most viewed, and it wasn't what you think. And I think Shakira and J-Lo were like the number 2. And I remember after people were like, well, it was good, but
no, I remember watching that and being like, dazzled. So good.
It was amazing. It was seriously amazing.
And yes, time will tell, but you also had to like give credit to how you felt just watching it
in the moment. Yeah. I do think it was the type of performance that really could have benefited from a couple of more guest spots. Yeah. There was a lot of rumors that Beyonce was going to be there because her whole family was there without her. So it's like, oh yeah, of course she's backstage getting ready. Like, I liked the Serena Williams nod.
And then also a lot of it was like, you know, more of the diss to Drake because the song Not Like Us is a Drake diss track, and then there were a bunch of like things in there. Even the necklace A is apparently for A minor.
Yeah, because it was a minor A. It was a small lowercase. Yeah.
But like, there's just so. And on the one hand, I'm like, yes, take this grudge all the way to the Super Bowl. Like, never let your haters like stop you from doing your thing. Like, never stop hating your haters. But on the other hand, it's like so crazy that this whole thing was like put together to like give an FU to Drake.
I agree. So at the Grammys, I was like loving the haterade. I'm like, yes, keep going. But at some point, like, you should be there, like, you know, and promote your own self and your own accomplishments, not like this person that you hate. As somebody who believes there's no, like, you can't take hate too far, I actually think, like, it was a little far. Like, he had to perform the song, obviously, and the whole stadium being like A minor is embarrassing for Drake enough. Like, the necklace, I feel like you make it about you. Like, this is so awesome. You did it by yourself.
So Serena Williams was there, and I just assumed it was because like she has history with Drake, and like so it's like a fellow Drake enemy. But then also people said that it was because of something with Wimbledon.
Oh.
Yeah, but I do think it had to do. I'm sorry, it has to do with
obviously,
Drake.
They were like briefly dated on and off. Oh, yeah. Oh, so she like famously did the Crip Walk when she won Wimbledon. It's like this iconic moment. And that was the dance that she did.
Yeah.
But why were they playing it during Not Like Us? No, I'm telling you, it was about Drake. It was about Drake. It was about Drake. And it's like, Drake is just like kind of like a big loser. It's crazy how there was a moment in time where Drake was so famous. Like every song, me on that hotline bling, like, everything he did was so major, so mega. He was the plane. It was all too much. And obviously that level of fame is like not sustainable, but to go from that to like big time loser where everyone took Kendrick's side, how did that happen?
I don't know, but honestly, Drake would have been a better halftime show.
Just because when you think about hits. Yeah. But Drake's also not American.
Does it have to be American?
So
I was wondering that too, because I was like, Harry Styles, but it's not American. Right.
I was watching
Celine Dion.
A video, a compilation of people who have said no to the Super Bowl. One of them was Dolly. She says she doesn't think she's famous enough and has enough hits for it, which I thought was so crazy. The other was Adele, and I thought it was like, oh, because she's British. But she was like, no, nobody wants to hear my songs at the Super Bowl. Like, it's supposed to be fun. Like, we're supposed to be like vibing, not crying.
I would love it.
But I thought it was more so because she's British, even though some people, like, I don't know, Harry Styles, yes, is British, but like his music is so American. You know, it's like, it's a part of American culture. I do feel like if Adele got selected, I would be like, this is not the vibe because she's British.
I would immensely enjoy it, but it would not be the vibe. Of course,
but it would be too British,
because
honestly.
She's British?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the music, I don't think it wouldn't be the vibe, not because of the music, because she's seriously too British.
Okay, what about Celine Dion?
I think she's too French.
French
like,
Canadian?
Honestly. Yeah, French Canadian.
Okay, wow.
But I don't know why. With Harry Styles, like, I'm down.
You don't feel that way.
Yeah, but maybe it's because his music is Super Bowl appropriate. It's like fun.
Yeah. I don't even think he would be like that's a performance I would enjoy, but I wouldn't even like put him on my list of like, this is a great idea.
No. Or like, I don't know, because I do feel like Apple has shifted a little bit the criteria for who is eligible to be a performer. So I think the list of people we like come up with maybe no longer applies.
Yeah, I would, especially with like Jay-Z as the curator. Like,
right. What is Jay-Z like? I don't know if Jay-Z listens to Pink and Kelly Clarkson.
I don't think Jay-Z is going to put Pink up for the job.
Well, he's so wrong for that, and he should be fired, okay?
Well, I agree. I think they need an expert curator. And I don't think that Jay-Z is the expert curator.
Well, so this is only the third Super Bowl Apple has done. And the one before was Usher, and I actually think that was a really good choice.
I thought it was a good choice, too.
And before that was Rihanna, which was also like a bomb-ass choice. So
a good choice and a good performance.
And a good execution,
yes. Yeah. So, two things.
He, like, actually has done a good job. Except for the whole, 13-year-old thing, which I actually can't get over.
Yeah.
They were on the TV, they showed him, they were like, Hove in the house. And I was like, call 13. The police. Like, there's Hove in the house.
He was like A minor.
You want to talk about it? Oh my God, yeah.
It's such a sick, twisted industry.
It's too much.
Like, you can't hold any of them. None of them are like beyond
It's the Spider-Man meme.
It's the Spider-Man meme.
Where they're all just pointing at each other.
Right. That's why if you need an expert curator, Kenny Ortega should do the Super Bowl. I was actually just watching a clip of Michael Jackson's.
So true.
I was watching a clip of Michael Jackson's Super Bowl appearance, and it was like probably a part of some documentary because people were speaking on it, like his people that he worked with, and Kenny Ortega was talking about it. I think he directed Michael Jackson's Super Bowl appearance. He should be the official director of the Super Bowl, and he should have say on like who does it because he knows talent.
It should be fan voted. Well, no, because then Taylor Swift would win every year. Like some people just have fans who are like not chronically online and just like go to work.
And it would be like Selena Gomez.
Yeah, right.
Okay,
like they would be bot farming.
Those are the Super Bowl stories.
Oh, well, the commercials, just really quickly.
I thought the commercials were so bad. I can't remember one of them.
I can remember one because it was the only one that actually made me laugh and that I hadn't seen before. I was shocked at how, and I didn't even actively seek out commercials. Like, I guess they've been playing them on TV and then like also releasing them on social.
Yeah,
so
classic.
I had seen all the commercials except for Mountain Dew, where they had Seal up on a rock as a seal singing A Kiss from a Rose. That was fucking funny, okay? And like slay. And I hadn't seen it yet. Like, I was so annoyed. I was like, I've seen all these commercials. And I just wanted to give a major shout out to Uber Eats because I feel like every year Uber Eats spends the most money on celebrities, the most amount of commercials. Like they have so many placements and they never dazzle me. And last night was no exception. They had Matthew McConaughey and every fucking celebrity with this like football was inspired by food commercial.
Yeah.
It was so unfunny and so expensive. And they're like constantly slaying the department of wasting money. Like they are always, remember the year before they reunited Ross and Rachel and Friends? Like they're always doing so much and it's so not like good creative.
Yeah. And you wanted to give them a shout out? Is that what you said?
Yeah. For being the worst. Okay. They stood out to me. I'm like, this is like another year where I'm like constantly rolling my eyes at Uber Eats. Like they do so much and it's giving like really try hard energy.
That's so funny. The only commercials I remember are like Intuit TurboTax, which actually looks
What'd
like
they
really
do?
Good. No, they just had like literally they were in every single block of commercials, just like about how you can like go for a run and someone's doing your taxes. And it looks like a good service.
Poppi, the prebiotic soda.
Oh, we're going to get into that. And then the only other...
They had a Super Bowl commercial, too.
Yes.
And Alex Earl was in it.
Yes. The other commercial... Do you know these Dunkings commercials? Like, why does it feel like an inside joke that I'm on the outside of?
Because you are.
No, but like, what are they doing? Like, they're like being like fools. And I'm just like...
It's because it's a lot about like Northeastern Boston culture, which is crazy for like a nationally televised game.
Right? Like Ben Affleck and the Dunkings and then Bill Belichick and his girlfriend, like... What are you guys doing? I feel like such an outsider.
Yeah. No, I get it too. I don't like fully understand like the beef and like the whole concept, but I think it's like
they've just like run away with this storyline.
Yeah, it's like people in Boston like Dunkin' a lot, obviously, but more so because it's like it's no frills. It's not like Starbucks fancy macchiato. It's just like coffee in a cup, and like for the real working man, they like a coffee on the go, and I think that's the inspiration I think.
No, but then there's like rap battles. Like, I just feel like I've missed it. I've missed the boat on Dunkin'.
But you're not the only one. A lot of us got left behind. Like, I'm not even 100% sure.
Okay, great. And then, yes, Poppi had a commercial with influencers, but they're also getting dragged.
Canceled.
Due to a decision to send $25,000 vending machines to influencers ahead of their Super Bowl commercial.
Yes. So as like a big PR, a lot of influencers get PR. They get like products. Sometimes they get like handbags. Some people take it really far. And Poppi was like, hold my beer. And they sent these kind of really pargy, they look like the Kylie Cosmetics like vending machines. They're like these new wave. It's not, your middle school vending machine. No. It's like this really pargy kind of robot. It's huge. They had them delivered to like a select few
32
influencers. And fully stocked with probably like 100 cans, and you could just like, it's free. So you could just, a lot of influencers like left it in their garage. I didn't see any New York City based influencers getting it because I don't know where the hell you would put it and how you would get it in the elevator. But it immediately started like this wave of drama on social media.
You could put it in your lobby for the whole building.
You could. That's a nice idea.
Yeah.
It started this whole conversation online, kind of similar to the conversations that were being had about Tart Island and the Tart trip. Just basically being like, this is super wasteful. Influencers get everything for free. Like, give this to a real customer. Why don't you give back to your customers? And that was kind of the thing with Tart too. It's like, well, you should take your customers on a trip. Well, no one would want to watch that. That's the problem. No, for real. Like, it's such a nice concept. And actually, Tarte does do that. No, and by the way, I've never seen a picture from it. Like, it's not viral. It doesn't make the brand money. These brands they're not charities. Like, they're here to create buzz. Buzz equals marketing. Marketing equals money. Like, customers get influenced by these types of things. And so, like, the response to everything on social media with these brands, especially like these more online brands like Poppi, being like, well, what if you should just do it for your real customers instead?
Yeah.
Why don't you go bother Walmart? Like, leave, like, it's just a dumb concept. Like, what is this free for all? Like, this is people's jobs.
It's true. It's just like weird when like there's something that's like so commonplace, like everyone does. It's just like part of the business, and then like people just like seek out one company who's doing it and like get mad about it. Some people made the point, like, why would you like? Apparently, it's about $800,000 that they spent sending 32 people these gifts when you could have put the vending machines somewhere with more traffic. Like, which one influencer needs hundreds of Poppis?
Ready? So, the people have to give the vending machines back in a couple of weeks. Right. A lot of them have actually already returned it. And I'm sure then Poppi will go put them in parks and shit, like for actual, it's called like using a billboard, like in multiple different ways. So I don't understand the backlash. I don't think it's a big deal. Especially when you see like nobody's giving Uber a problem for spending $8 million on one commercial last night. Like, this is what companies at that level do. They spend money. And actually, Maureen from Tarte was making a bunch of TikToks being like, Tarte will never buy a Super Bowl commercial. Like, we'd rather spend $8 million on a trip.
Right.
So it's literally the same thing. Think about how much we talked about Tart Island. Everybody was talking about it. That's marketing for Tarte. And honestly, I think it's better spent than being one in 55 commercials last night. You spent $8 million. Like, that's more embarrassing to me than giving a couple of influencers vending machines.
Yeah, and ultimately
for a grand total of $800,000, in which you're getting the vending machines back. And now look, we're all talking about Poppi. It was successful. Like, congratulations, you played yourself.
Yeah, I saw Rachel Kirkconnell got a vending machine, so I saw her video, and I just thought, I didn't even know about this controversy. I just thought that was like so cute. And then she said she had to give it back. I was like, oh damn. But I guess who needs 1,000 cans of Poppi?
Yeah.
But it was just like a fun, cute concept. Like, it's called marketing.
Not only that, like, go Poppi. Like, they're a brand that really invests mostly in like digital and influencer marketing, and they got a Super Bowl ad last night. Like, that's sick. Yeah. And the fact that they wanted it to be full of like Alex Earl, Jake Shane was in it, like a lot of influencers, like the people who got them there. I love that. Like, and I think it's a female founded brand. Like, what? Fuck off. Like, it's good.
Yeah.
Like, why shouldn't they be up there spending as much money as Matthew McConaughey and Uber Eats? Oh man, I'm like on an Uber Eats like mission today. Like, hate them. But even though I'm like their number one customer. Like, where's the energy for those for Doritos?
Yeah. Doritos
like,
has a lot of bad commercials.
The worst. Actually, did they even do commercials last night?
I saw some space orb was like stealing the Doritos from a guy on his couch. Like, womp, cool. Womp, womp.
Cool.
They were serious. The commercials were so bad.
Pete Davidson was like doing a lot last night after being relatively quiet for a while. He was actually at the Super Bowl, and I think he was in 1 or 2 commercials.
Oh, yeah. And it's also funny, like, who gets tapped. Like, I would love to be a fly on the wall. The most random ideas, which are sometimes so good. Here's a random idea that was actually good. It was the Circle water bottle and Adam Devine.
Yeah.
That was actually a really cute commercial.
You know what was a good one?
When the person in the room was like, what if we got Adam Devine to call his wife? What?
Wait, you know what was actually a good one that's really appropriate for this conversation?
What?
Taco Bell.
What did
they were like, we are not gonna use big celebrities for we're gonna give it to our consumers. And so then
everyone should be so happy.
Right. But then they also, so they put up like 1 million pictures really quickly. They're like, if you're in this, screenshot it. And all their customers, like from social media, they took pictures of like everybody who takes pictures at Taco Bell. It was cute. But then they also had like LeBron James and tons of celebrities being like, wait, we're not in the commercial? And like the lights were being turned off on them. So like it wasn't enough to have your customers in your commercial because nobody would have been talking about that. But now we're talking about it because LeBron James was in it and being funny, being like, am I still getting paid for this? So they did have to spend all that money on the commercial and the celebrities, but then put a couple of pictures of their customers in it, being like, look, send this to your mom. You're in a Taco Bell commercial.
Oh my God, that's funny. Yeah, no, I think actually like a more worthy thing for people to get annoyed about is like commercial actors are out of a job from all the celebrities and how much brands spend on the Super Bowl commercial and then all the celebrities. Like some of these brands have so many huge celebrities and it's like, give that job to working actors who need it.
1,000%.
That to me, it's like, I hate the celebrities in the commercials. Like it's so not creative and looks like a waste of money when they could be doing so many other things using their real customers. And I think that people online, instead of getting mad at Poppi, like a startup business that's like working with influencers, should get mad at the big celebrities, how much they get paid for these commercials.
Yeah, no, it's so true. And also you just reminded me of something. Hold on, I was about to make a fire point. It just like escaped my brain.
Bring it back.
Celebrities,
LeBron James.
about, like, Flo from Progressive. I was thinking about.
Oh, that's the best, by the way. When someone can do a commercial, a celebrity, and they like make a regular person a star.
I remember there was also no commercials that made me cry. I feel like every year there's one or two like really beautiful ones about like family or nostalgia or like a pet dying. Mm-hmm. I remember Amazon Prime Farmer's Dog slayed a couple of years ago.
Dog slayed.
Where was the tearjerker?
Yeah, no,
there wasn't one last time.
No, I wasn't feeling very moved.
Yeah,
sad. So that's Super Bowl commercials. Are you ready for our next story? A little.
By the way, what story are we up to right now?
It's technically number 4.
Oh, shoot. No, I'm not ready.
Oh, yeah. No, we're not ready.
Not me forgetting I have a job to do.
I know. Sorry, I told you it was a mushmash.
Is brought to you by State Farm. So when you get a new car or a new house, the first thing you might find yourself saying is literally what? It's giving homeowner. But really, the words you want to be thinking or singing are like a good neighbor. State Farm is there. And State Farm is there, you guys, with the coverage that you need for your car, your home, even boats, motorcycles, RVs, and other things that matter to you. With a State Farm agent, you know someone is there to help you choose the coverage you need. With so many coverage options, it feels good knowing that you can find what fits for you. And when you need ways to get help, State Farm also gives you options there. So maybe you're like me, very high-paced, fast life, bright lights, big city girl, loves to do things on my phone. With State Farm, you can get help on statefarm.com or on their award-winning app. But perhaps you're like Jax, you live a bit of a slower life, a homesteading trad wife who can't even be on her phone in the car because she gets nauseous. You like to handle things in person with people or on the phone like a grandmother. Well, you can do that with State Farm. You can talk to your agent in person or on the phone. That's what we love about State Farm. No matter what kind of toaster you are, State Farm lets you do things your way. So when you need help protecting the things that matter most, remember to sing it like Jax and Claude do. Would you like to give it a shot, or just because you're sick, you want me to do the whole thing?
Let's see. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
It was not bad, actually.
Hard, yeah.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Today's episode is also brought to you by K18. K18's leave-in molecular repair hair mask is the viral leave-in peptide treatment that reverses hair damage in 4 minutes. So the Healthy Hair Solution works at the deepest molecular level for lasting repair on all types of hair. K18 has become one of my favorite, and honestly, shout out to social media because I really got influenced into buying a bunch of K18 products from some of my favorite influencers a couple of months ago, and I'm so glad that they're a sponsor because it's really a fabulous hair care brand. And Jackie and I are very specific about our hair. It's kind of the one thing that we are like really protective of, especially because we don't color our hair. So we're always trying to like maintain the integrity of our hair. Different phases of our life, we've also just like burnt out our hair. And so the products that you use can really make a huge difference in your everyday, like day-to-day hair shine and things. So this leave-in molecular repair mask is so fabulous. It's clinically proven to repair damage from bleach and color, chemical services, and heat, which is huge. It's all the things that we use, to express ourselves. In just 4 minutes, you're going to get stronger, smoother, and softer hair. It'll be bouncier like new no matter what you put it through again and again. So I've tried through different phases of my life to stop using heat, and it's just not an option. Like I'm on camera every day. So it wasn't about like using less heat. It was about finding products that really will help protect my hair, like when I'm not, using heat, to restore it, to repair it. And K18 is so fabulous. You can find it at your local Sephora. You can feel the difference for yourself. Find K18 at your local Sephora. Feel the difference for yourself. Or try 10% off your first order if you order directly from their website, K18hair.com. That's K18hair.com. Our code is TOAST at K18hair.com. Code is TOAST.
Thank you, TURT.
You're welcome.
Our next story, Brianna Chickenfry playing coy, addressing rumors about a romance with West Wilson from Summer House.
I thought his name was Wes.
So I think his name is West, and then like his friends call him Wes.
Got it. Okay. Yeah.
They were both at the Super Bowl. Or his friends are too lazy to pronounce the T.
Which I feel, I'm kind of into Wes. Like,
yeah.
T? I don't have time.
West T.
So these rumors got like really, were popping off over the weekend on social media. And I think maybe it would have died down, except that they kind of confirmed it.
Well,
Wes did.
What did Wes say? Because she was asked by Page Six about West and how they're spending time together. And she's like, said who, what? And spun around nervously. She said, I haven't really thought about it. I've just been thinking about the Super Bowl, thinking about who's going to win the game, placing my bets. I haven't had time to think about West. No. But she did post a picture, like a selfie of the two of them, like partying. I think it's just like maybe they were having fun this weekend. Like, do you think that they knew each other before this weekend?
Maybe they knew of each other, but no, I don't think they personally knew each other. I think there was like a small group of like internet people who were at the Super Bowl, compared to like celebrities. And so they probably just stuck together. And I could see them like just hooking up. I don't think this is a great love. And I don't think this is either of their next relationships. I think they probably hooked up, had a really good time. I could see them getting along personality wise.
Yeah.
A lot of people are like, oh my God, does this mean Brianna on Summer House? I don't think so. Although that wouldn't be the worst for both things. Like I actually think Summer House could really use somebody like young and fresh and relevant like Brianna, and Wes could use something to distract us from what he did from Sierra. Like, I think it would be good for everyone. But I don't think that's where this is leading. I think they just like hooked up and probably had a really fun weekend. Like, you forget, like they're 25. Like, that's what you do when you're 25.
Yeah, it's just crazy that we know about it. Like, I feel like this is the sort of thing that in a few months, like one of them shares on their podcast and we're like, oh my God. Yeah. But like that we know that they were probably together this weekend. It's just like, it's so much to know. I do not ship just because we've seen a lot from him. Not my favorite.
Brianna deserves better.
And I
like,
just like want the absolute best for her.
Yeah.
But
I'm glad she's having fun.
And she is having fun. And like fun is very important to her right now. And like I think it's good.
By the way, Craig was at the Super Bowl, as was Paige. They were both rooting for the Eagles. I saw both of their videos. It appears that they were actually on complete opposite sides of the stadium. Thank God. But just unfortunate.
Why does Craig root for the Eagles?
He didn't. He was like with a bunch of people. He was like, thanks, Eagles, for letting me join your fandom for the weekend. Like, I don't think he had he was just going like to go.
And Paige roots for them because of...
I think that the guy that she's like friends with / she says she's not dating, but like she obviously...
Like, when she said that guy's not my boyfriend, like, yeah, because they've probably been dating for a few weeks. Like, that person's not your boyfriend yet.
I also saw a theory that she's good friends with his sister. Like, it could just be that.
I know, but those pictures from that game, like, that was a date.
There was just one blurry picture. She could have just been sitting next to him. Maybe the sister was on the other side. Like, literally. And
I don't know. Like, what friend takes you to a game in a box?
Okay, so the theory that I had heard was that, like, she's friends with Paige's sister, and Paige is friends with her sister, and the sister's, like, a huge Giggly Squad fan. So, like, she'd be like, brother, can you take me and my cool friend to the Super Bowl?
Got it.
And then maybe, like, Paige and him are, like, vibing, and, like, maybe that's how this girl gets, like, her brother to marry Paige DeSorbo, but... it's an alternate theory.
Okay, I hadn't considered that there was someone else in the mix and that it wasn't a date.
Well, because everybody was like freaking out that I guess the guy was backstage at one of their shows.
With the sister.
With the sister, exactly. The sister's like a huge giggler.
No, I didn't even think about him backstage at the show. I just remember the picture of them like in the box, and I was like,
okay, Jackie, but it's just not even a picture. It's two people sitting next to each other in a box in the most blurry zoomed in photo of all time.
But like, I never considered like there might be other that like he didn't invite her there.
She could be a +1.
Yeah, totally.
But she also like could be on a date, which is totally fine and normal.
Totally fine and normal now. They've been broken up like 8 weeks.
It's
more.
Fine. Yeah.
What? Where? It's February.
Whoa. Thank God.
Whoa.
Whoa.
Are you ready for our fifth and final story? Mm-hmm. Little anniversary news. SNL 50 anniversary special will feature Bad Bunny, Sabrina Carpenter, John Mulaney, Tom Hanks, and more. So
okay, I'm sorry. I literally like completely zoned out. Can you start the story from the beginning?
SNL 50th anniversary special.
I started listening when you said Sabrina Carpenter. I'm like, wait, what's she doing with John Mulaney?
I know. She's performing or contributing to the special. Steve Martin, Sabrina Carpenter, Bad Bunny, John Mulaney, Dave Chappelle, and numerous other stars who've been associated with the show over the years. ScarJo will make an appearance.
Of course.
It will air on February 16th. It's a 3-hour-long live telecast honoring SNL's 50th anniversary. It's SNL at a glance.
So, literally, is this like on Saturday night at 11:30, or is it like a different time slot?
February 16th is a
Sunday.
Oh, so it's a Sunday evening broadcast.
Oh, they are just loving to abuse our Sunday evenings.
They are.
I actually think this will be good. I know everything SNL does is like so lame these days, but when they get there, when you really think about the breadth of talent who's come from SNL, and they all still love and respect Lorne and show up whenever he asks, like when you get them all in a room, it's like the greatest of our time.
Yeah, and like SNL history, there's a lot to pull from. There's so many great moments, performances, like people who have come out of it. So like when they go into the archives, it's always good.
Oh, and I'm sure there'll be like tributes to like Norm Macdonald and Chris Farley. People we've lost.
Like the current stuff is what's bad, but this is great because it's not current.
Right, the whole point of it is to celebrate the good old days.
So this has the makings to be something good.
Love to see Sabrina out here just like getting gigs, booking things, you know?
Yeah. Miley will be
there.
Who
is she gonna? Oh, wait, the Barry Keoghan Squarespace commercial was actually good.
Oh, yeah, but it's like, whose idea was that to have like Barry Keoghan riding? Like, I just would like to be on the fly on the wall for some of these meetings. Yeah. And it's like, they pick the most random people, or even the Ritz Salty, and it was like Aubrey Plaza. And the
other stank face guy. Who was that? I forget.
His name is like Napoleon from 9 Perfect Strangers.
Wait, who was it? I can't even remember like his face.
I'll tell you his name. You're not gonna. Michael Shannon. You have to Google him. Google him.
Okay, because I don't know like who that is.
You do. He's like,
and I'm like blanking on the whole commercial.
He's like in so many things.
Oh yeah, classic face.
Classic.
Honestly, that whole commercial was Fabissina.
And it's like, why those two? That's not even who I would think of as salty.
Oh, you know who else crushed the commercials?
Who?
The cast of Schitt's Creek. They were in every fucking commercial because, you know, Dan Levy is Homes.com. And then Eugene Levy was Little Caesar with the eyebrows flying away. Very funny.
And Moira.
Catherine O'Hara was in the Michelob Ultra commercial. But did you see, I had thought it at the same time. Adam Brody was in the Pringles commercial, and he's like, we need more Pringles. They're like, blow on the can. And then the Pringles mustache like flies off. And then all these famous people with mustaches, like their mustaches flew away. It was like the same exact creative from Little Caesars. Like Little Caesar had the eyebrows flying.
Sparky Pilastri.
From Eugene Levy. It was Sparky Pilastri syndrome.
They used the same agency that only had one idea.
Do you think? Because it looked visually so similar because it was like a mustache with two parts. It looked like a set of eyebrows. I was like, wait, this is the same commercial I just saw.
I think they got Sparky Pilastri'd.
I would love to know like the drama at the agencies right now. Like if it was really just parallel thinking, but it's such a random, sometimes you could see how two people could come to the same conclusion, right? I don't see how two totally separate teams could have come up with the Pringles mustache flying off and that Eugene Levy eyebrow flying off.
I don't know. Drama.
Well,
those are the Fast 5 stories, and it feels as though you needed to know them.
Did we hit everything? It was just it was literally, I got in bed at 4:00 and it was over at like 11. So there was so much. I hope I didn't miss anything.
No, I feel like that was everything. Jalen won MVP.
Of course. Who else? I mean, it's never not the quarterback. Even though, like, sometimes, like, but what about Saquon? Like, it's just always the quarterback, unless the quarterback's like injured or something. Yeah, even though I often think about, like, my team, the Niners, if they ever won, like, they came really close these last couple of years. Like, would it be Brock or would it be Christian McCaffrey? Because Christian McCaffrey was injured this season, and, like, they didn't even make it to the playoffs. So it's kind of Christian's thing.
Yeah, no, they have a lot of other really strong players. And, you know, notoriously don't have the strongest quarterback.
Right, like the franchise guy.
Yeah, that is interesting to think about.
But they're going to Disney World. And I just, honestly, if you're a resident of Philadelphia, stay safe because your team won. And that just means, like, destruction is upon you. Yeah. So don't go outside, hide your kids, hide your wife, and just, it'll all blow over soon. Because the parade's coming to town. I'm sure last night, like, the city was engulfed in flames.
Yeah. It's already started, but congrats
thank you to our first responders,
to the Philly fans. I'm happy for you.
Me too. It's a nice group, zealous,
and they had a great team. They played some beautiful ball, and they deserved it. And they had a good.
And you know what? I really did not think they were going to win. And I do think, like, it's easy to say, well, of course they won. The other team was bad. I think two things can be true. I think they played some of the best football they've ever played, while the Chiefs were also bad. Like, they didn't only win because the Chiefs were bad. They were just, like, unstoppable.
Yeah, they were. But it's a shame. We'll never really know. The Chiefs were just, like, falling over themselves.
Right, because what I had said, why I thought they weren't going to win, is, like, they absolutely crushed the Washington, whatever their name is these days. And I was like, well,
the Roz Washingtons.
Yeah, the Roz Washingtons were awful. Like, that doesn't mean you're good just because the other team is bad. And now I'm rethinking. I'm like, maybe they actually were a decent team, Washington.
Yeah.
Perhaps Shirley was wrong. It's rare.
No, I don't think that you were.
Me neither. I never am. Well, that's our show. Super Bowl recap. Splix. We'll see you next year all night long.
We'll see you next year for Splix.
Oh, we'll see you next year for Splix. That's our show, you guys. Thank you so much for listening to The Toast, the Millennial Morning Show, where we deliver the fast 5 stories you need to know every Monday through Friday on YouTube. So if you're watching us on YouTube, please feel free to subscribe and give this video a thumbs up. We're also available as a podcast anywhere podcasts can be found. So that's Spotify, iTunes, Stitcher, Public Video, iHeartRadio, CastBox, all the places. Wherever you listen to podcasts, find us, The Toast. My God. Leave a 5-star review, bitch, about how beautiful, stunning, and wickedly talented we are. Have an amazing day, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Love ya. Bye.